What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, according to published reports, reputable sources, um, Anthony Davis, according to Rich Paul, is finalizing a 5-year, $190 million maximum contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. And apparently, he had been waiting to see what Giannis was going to do. If Giannis was going to give any indication that he might be willing to play with the Lakers, and I firmly believe that Giannis is committed to staying with Milwaukee. I think he wants to win on his own terms, be the man, so to speak. So maybe that's why Davis has signed this long-term deal. And if you're the Lakers, you're ecstatic. Um, to me, Davis is their best player at this time. I know the media likes to say otherwise or debate otherwise, but to me, Davis is their best player. Um, and if you watch the playoffs, you can kind of see that he is the cornerstone of that team. He is their defensive anchor, and he is their greatest mismatch. Um, but at the same time, they desperately need LeBron James to play well too. I gotta say, man, as a Bulls fan, it just sucks. It just sucks. It sucks, man, watching all these other teams make moves, and you got these old fucking fossils who aren't doing any fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? I get tired. I get so tired. Yeah, we had that little fucking renaissance with Derrick Rose, but I get so fucking tired of seeing people that's on my team end up as conversation pieces for, well, but maybe we could be Zach LaVine could be a piece to go to this team. Like, they just want to pilfer our fucking teams to make their teams better. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Shit's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch your team do nothing. It'd be one thing if we could fucking draft well. We can't draft well. We can't draft well. We can't land any big free agents. We just fucking suck. As a matter of fact, Michael Jordan, now more than ever, in my opinion, was an aberration. He was a fluke. Okay? He was a fluke. It wasn't even supposed to happen with Chicago. If you take away Michael Jordan, right? You take Michael away. None of that shit would have ever happened. You take Michael Jordan away, like I said before, Scottie Pippen would just been a player a little bit better than Stacey Augmon, in my opinion. Horace Grant would have been all right. Rodman would have never came over. We just would have been a, a, a mediocre team in the 90s, and that's it. It was a fluke. But back to the Lakers, okay? And I saw this debate about what's the more impressive or important signing, LeBron or AD, and Stephen A. Smith predictably said LeBron. Look, at the end of the day, and it's the same thing we saw with Shaq and Kobe. Now, unlike Shaq and Kobe, these guys are not beefing each other. They get along fabulously, from what I could tell. But at the end of the day, you got to put logic here, okay? It's even more extreme in this scenario. Like, at the time, Shaq was 32, Kobe was 24. You have to go with youth. And even though Shaq did go on to win a title with D Wade, you clearly saw after Shaq's tenure with the Lakers, he deteriorated slowly but surely. Okay, whereas Kobe put up some of the best numbers we've ever seen, but he wasn't winning. Uh, He won a lot considering the roster he had. If people know what the fuck they're talking about, which is why I still say 2006 he should have won the league MVP. But there was still that stench of Colorado in the air, plus the stench of the Malice at the Palace, and the league was playing politics with Steve Nash and those MVPs. But at the end of the day, all Kobe needed was Andrew Bynum to develop a little bit before he broke down with the injuries and kind of being carefree. And all he needed was that and Pau Gasol in one title. They need to stack the deck. Just got a couple of good pieces. Um, with this scenario, Davis is still in his 20s. I don't know how old he is because these guys come in so young now. But I think Davis is what, 28, I guess. I'm guessing off the top of my head. I don't know how exactly. 28, I guess. LeBron is about to be 36 in about 3 weeks. 36. Okay. That's I know LeBron had this phenomenal year 17, but when you get to that age that he is, especially considering the lack of downtime that they've had, at some point you're going to see some slippage with LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I already can see the slippage. I've seen it for the last couple of years. It's more on the defensive end. It's more on the quickness aspect. But LeBron still retains so much quickness, and he uses his power. And he's more. If you look at LeBron James, if you watch him and you compare him to how he played when he was with Cleveland, LeBron was a combination of speed and power back then. I mean, for just ridiculous athleticism. LeBron still has retained a lot of his athleticism, but he's not as athletic as he used to be. Like when he was with Cleveland, he had like a 44-inch vertical leap. Now he's more like about 37, 36-inch vertical leap. Um, he's more power, you know, but he still has a lot of speed left. But Davis is the guy, man. Davis is their defensive anchor. Davis is the guy that, to me, the Lakers have to look long term with. And let me say this too, because this just gets on my nerves with the extreme LeBron um, brigade, or whatever you want to call them. Saw this dude earlier. I had to cuss him out on Twitter. Just for no reason shitting on Larry Hughes. I don't know what these guys get out of. This is how you know they're bad for teams. I'm talking about these extremes, okay? Not just your typical LeBron fan. These guys get, I don't know what it is they get out of shitting on his team. You know what I'm saying? This guy was talking about how Larry Hughes was a bum. So Larry Hughes, who I think a couple of years before he got traded to the Cavaliers, was first team all defense, led the NBA in steals, and was averaging 22 points a game that year. But somehow he's a bum. Well, I mean, he won't put up those numbers with Cleveland, so yeah. Because he's playing with LeBron, you fucking idiot. That's why. What is so hard for you to believe? What's so hard for you to understand about that? He's mostly just a defensive god, spot up shooter, playing with LeBron, even though it really wasn't his game. What part that you not fucking understanding? When you playing with LeBron James in the starting lineup, okay, especially if you're in the backcourt, you're not going to get the basketball. You're not going to be scoring like that. Julius Ilgauskas, probably behind Brad Daugherty and I'd say Nate Thurman, the third best center in the history of the Cavaliers franchise. And no, it's not Tristan Thompson. But somehow, miraculously, he's a bum too. Yep. Kevin Love was a bum. Chris Bosh was a bum, even though he's gonna be in the Hall of Fame this year, probably. You know, Wade was a bum. I even heard this shit. Well, Wade, he really was not. Man, what the fuck is wrong with you? But somehow, Dennis Rodman, all 5 points per game of him, is this other godly world figure player, though. Scottie Pippen, who limped into the league at 7 points a game, he's an all world player, though. All those guys are great players. They all developed into great players. But goddamn, stop shitting on the guy's teammates, man. I don't know. That's why I don't listen to that shit, man. This is why I don't like to watch sports talk because it just grates me, man. These guys on TV is just unbelievable. It just fucking I don't know, man. God damn it. That's why you shouldn't listen to that shit, man. But if I'm LeBron James though, what LeBron's doing is brilliant because look, if I could do what he's doing, I would do it too because he's already going to dwarf Jordan's numbers. Okay, just because of his longevity. If he can match or even surpass Jordan in rings, then that ends that argument from some of the more dense Jordan fans who always bring up rings and no other argument. They can't really argue anything other than rings. And like I said before, at the end of the day, 20 years from now, when you're going to have a more objective fan base, not with emotional ties to either player, they're going to look at things, I think, and most are going to come to the conclusion that LeBron is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's what's going to happen. They're going to look at LeBron and say that they think he's the GOAT. They're going to look at his numbers. They're going to look at his rings, um, especially if he happens to tie Jordan, at least. And they're going to look at activism, being outspoken, because it's like that's starting to mesh into sports now, politics, which to me it doesn't belong there. But at the same time, we got to be fair. A lot of us elevate Muhammad Ali because of that shit. Has nothing to do with his in the ring battles, right? But we all elevate Muhammad Ali because of that, because of him being a humanitarian, because of him being a philanthropist, because of the risk he took going up against the U.S. government and against the Vietnam War in the mid to late 1960s, which could have landed his ass in jail for what 3 to 5 years or something like that. So because of the risk that he took personally, both inside and outside the ring, you know what I'm saying? That's why he's elevated so hard. Now that's the one thing that goes against LeBron, in my opinion, is some people will tell you he doesn't like risk. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to stack the deck so much that it's an easier path for him. And some people look at that as not cheating, but cheating yourself, being afraid to fail, not trusting yourself, so to speak. So you got to look at it in different angles. But on my channel, because I come at things, I see things differently than most people, and I kind of don't. And some people say I don't pick a side or whatever, but I do pick a side. It's my opinion. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I just see things the way I see it, multi-layered. I'm not a black and white guy when it comes to how I see it. Now, I am black and white when it comes to one thing, but when it comes to most things, I see things in different layers. I see things in detail. I try to look at things from different angles and different perspectives, you know, and then I come to a conclusion. I'm more, I guess, scientific in how I look at shit, but yeah, it's a good thing for the Lakers this signing. I think the Lakers are the odds-on favorite to win the championship, and you know, I'm trying to think of any team that could really compete with the Lakers in the Western Conference right now, and I don't really see it. The only thing I can kind of think of, and even with that, I don't think it's enough, is if the James Harden trade does go with the Warriors. I don't think that's enough. So maybe the only competition that they'll really have is maybe the Nets in the Eastern Conference. I don't think that Milwaukee's done enough, but we'll see. What you guys think?